Good day. This is the Journeymen Collective podcast. I'm Gary Logan of the Journeymen Collective, and my partner is Robert Grover. Together, we have been guiding visionaries through luxurious plant medicine journeys for about 5 years now. We empower executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals to connect deeply into self to amplify their awareness and to accelerate their conscious vision for life and business into reality. Today on the show, I have a beautiful couple, Jen and Nick. They are in Alberta, and they were on a journey about 3 years ago now, I'd say. I'd like to thank you in advance, in case I don't do it at the end, for providing me with your time and your energy. In our conversation today, we would like to hear more about your journey with the Journeymen Collective and how it has changed your direction for life and what impact you've had on the world since your journey. Can you provide our listeners with some insight of your backgrounds and what direction mostly are you going in your life now after your journey with the Journeymen Collective?
Awesome. Well, I'm Jen, and we together live blissfully in sin, not quite, with our 2 children here in Lethbridge, Alberta. We have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old now, and I am an entrepreneur. I own a tiny home building company, Teacup Tiny Homes, and we just celebrated our 5th anniversary in the fall. So a lot of really great things happening there, and a lot of it really is in part because I chose to do the work.
Yeah, just like Jen said, blissfully living in sin with the 2 little ones. So I guess that makes me Nick on the other end of it. And yeah, I'm a vehicle sales professional, listed as one of the top ones in Southern Alberta, as Gary said. Been doing that just about 3 years now, and it's helped me a long way in just helping people find the right fit for them and enjoying their energy in their lives and helping them change their own path.
So can you compare, like we can compare where you are now compared to where you were 3 years ago before embarking on a journey? Can you sort of do a comparison?
Yeah, 3 years ago, well, that was just in the entire 2019 year was a huge growth curve for me. We went through a few things together in 2018, and basically I promised myself in the fall that I was never going to have a year like 2018 ever again in my life, period. And that then led me on a path to meet you guys in Toronto. And that was a brilliant experience. And it definitely, the first time I met Rob, it changed my world, basically. The energy work that he did very quickly when we first met, I was sold. So I knew at that point that we'd be coming on a journey with you guys, period, no matter what.
And so how did you share that with Nick to get Nick on board?
I think it was just, let's see, we're doing this. And it just so happens to be your mom's birthday weekend. Maybe for her birthday, she wants to babysit the kids while we go. So it was, and he said, okay, whatever. That was basically all the buy-in I needed. So where we were then versus where I am now is I have way more confidence. The biggest thing is to just understand how energy works and knowing that it's all fine. Like there's no reason to be anxious. It's not going to work out, because simply if you put it out there and work with the energies in the way that we've been taught by you and others, everything is just so small. Everything is just so small, comparatively speaking, and we are just a tiny blip in the radar. So that really has given me the confidence to be able to just go, just do whatever, and put my head down, move forward without any fear. Well, with little fear.
Yeah, so Nick, after the journey, what was your life like after a few days coming home? What was your head? What was going on in your thoughts and your psyche and your energy field? How did you start relating to people, or did people start relating to you differently?
It was very interesting. For lack of a better, I was kind of gobsmacked for a few days for a bit there after after the work that we all did, and a little tired. And it took a couple of days to get my mind kind of set up and back into the real world where, dealing with the third dimensional people and the mechanical things back and forth. And it was, to put it into simpler terms, learning, like Jen said, to not sweat the small stuff, because it is all very, very, very small. And to allow things to come into my life as opposed to force them. In the sales world, you're very much driven to push, and do more and make more calls and try harder. And you can always do more. Some days I'll fall back in old habits, times that I get out much more quickly than I used to. But I've resigned myself to the fact that things always work out, and the right person will walk through the door, and you pick up the phone at the right time, and you make the right phone call at the right time, no matter what. And everything is always working out perfectly.
So the synchronicities in both your lives are, working like 100% compared to, they were sort of working, and you're going, well, that's just coincidence.
Yeah, there's a lot more just letting, knowing that just because you can't see the results you want doesn't mean that there aren't billions of little energy fields all around the globe working their little magic that you can't see to get the result you want. And it's not all about the result. It definitely, it is the physical result, I guess, but that's the cool thing, is that if you can wake up every morning and just wonder what's going to happen today and be open to anything that is, and be open to miracles, then you start to see the miracles. So bringing the awareness to ourselves. I think we are both far more aware. We can have so much better. Is that good English? So much better conversations besides the words. Our conversations have depth. Our conversations have meaning. And where we are now, it's been an interesting few years since the journey.
To say the least,
yeah, we both went through a lot of growth, and even up to, let's say, like 6 months ago, we were both trying to figure out who we were still, and continuing to do the work. Yeah, exactly, we still are. And I think that's a really cool thing, is that we can just pass it to the kids, like the things that the kids say, like talking about energy of the trees. And if you touch a tree with your finger, mommy, did you know that you give the tree your energy? I'm like, well, you don't say. Where did that come from? It's unbelievable, the lens that you start looking at the world through.
How easily it's passed into the younger generation.
Totally. I was going to lead into your children as so your interaction with your children is totally different compared to the journey, I'd say. You have, I think, more of your openness, if this is a good statement, your openness and awareness lets them be more open and aware also. They're not suppressed and held back and conformed. They're there to teach us, actually. Our children are here to teach us. And if you allow that, the things of beauty come out of their mouths. Sometimes it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So with Teacup Tiny Homes, that has grown considerably, you would say, in the last few years?
Yeah,
beyond
absolutely.
Your expectations, I think, from what I've been reading.
Yeah. Well, I have pretty high expectations.
I know.
I'm just being patient and letting it come together. Let's see. I think we did like 5 or something like that in 2019. A lot of staff turnover. It was actually very interesting. A team member that we decided to go separate ways after I did a lot of work, kind of surfaced again this year, and I had to go back and read a bunch of emails. It was fascinating to see who I was at that point in time in 2019. And it was just a far different person than I am now. That was really cool to go see and go through all those emails. Teacup has grown, like, for perspective wise. In 2020, we built 9 homes. In 2021, we built 20 homes. And then now we have about 8 to 10 under construction, or at all times we have for the last 6 months.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. And we we've doubled our revenue for basically the entire time, but now, at 1.25 million and then doubling that. Now it's just the numbers are getting bigger. It's all getting bigger. And with that, you have the ability to have more impact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool.
Excellent. Congratulations on that massive growth. My God.
Yeah.
And Nick, I hear you're the hottest salesman in town.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Looks aren't everything.
Good one.
Yeah. You know what?
It's temperature isn't everything.
Yeah.
I was told for a lot of years from a few different people that I should probably be in sales in one way, shape, or form. And the way that this all worked out and how I landed at where I'm at is, it's just it was the universe aligning me into the place that I needed to be at the time I needed to be there. Yep. And the help after the journey was in allowing the people and my customer and my client base to come into my life that were supposed to be there.
Right.
I have surpassed people who have been in the industry for 20 years and 25 years, just with a few clients alone that I've met along my path. And they've come into my life for that, for whatever reason.
Yeah. Brilliant. Do people ask you what is your magic secret to your success?
A few do.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a few that do. There's the majority don't. There's fear, ego, whatever comes out of it. But there's a few that do, and there's a few that'll sit back and watch. And you know what? Truthfully, I don't know if I can explain it all that well.
Right.
To them. I do my best. But I let the things happen, and I'm not your traditional sales guy that rams it down your throat and will call you 14 times a day and chase you around the clock tower until you buy something. It's meant to be. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and usually it seems to be working out on the good side of meaning. Excellent. To be. Right?
Good. And the feedback from customers, they must just love you, and they must refer other people to you. With that, it just came to me thinking about your uniqueness to sales. You could almost do a workshop on that skill set that you've acquired now.
Yeah, there's been some thought based around that. There's definitely been some thought based around that. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, just to change the flow and the tradition and the almost the archaic base around it, I suppose you could call it. Yeah.
Excellent. And when now looking back, a few years have gone by, have your circle of collective of friends adjusted and changed? Or, because they're ebb and flow, people come in and leave our lives, and some people stick around. Some people don't quite understand what the shift is, and they'll most likely go the other way. It's like your sales team, they don't ask you. So I assume some friends ask and some friends just didn't bother.
For me, I think it's interesting. I mean, plus we've been like 2 years in a pandemic where you kind of didn't need to be friends with anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
this could be a good thing.
I think I talked to Rob, through Facebook or whatever more than anyone locally, to be honest. But
you sneeze, you don't see anybody for 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been interesting in itself. What I really found is that I ask different questions and I pose them in different ways. And by doing that now, I have the opportunity to have a lot deeper conversations with some of the people that were in my life before, but we never communicated on that level. Right. Some of them don't even really know the communication, but I would say a lot of the people, it's hard to say if it's changed. I basically went from having a lot of online relationships and friendships, kind of like what we do now. And that's been really, really, really great. So I guess, yes, to answer the question.
Okay.
Different conversations for sure.
Would you embark on a journey again?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a deep, meaningful, hard work, scary, but not scary, if that even makes sense. journey. That's exactly what it was. The awareness. Very interestingly enough, we dealt with some energies there that are really coming up right now again, but yet now I have more of the tools to work with it and really start to release it on a different level. So I think that doing journeys often is probably a very important thing. You have to continually do the work.
Mm-hmm. And it's very important. The work is important. It's not just coming in to experience the medicine. It's coming in to learn. It's a teacher. And the idea is like, it's 3 years after the journey and you're still integrating the touchstones that you discovered in your journey process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something will come up talking to someone. I'll go, oh, okay, there that is again, or was something like that. And it's just, it's interesting to be able to, to go through it every day to remember the things. So
how would you advise somebody that you're speaking to introduce them to the Journeymen Collective or in the experience of a journey? How would you talk to them about that?
Well, through many conversations, I've had a lot of people say, what did you do? Like, what was this about? Like, clearly there's been huge change. What was this about? And the conversations I've had is just, it all depends on the level, right? And it's like the people who know what a journey is already, there's so many of them. The ones that don't is a totally different conversation. And talking to a lot of them, basically going and doing spiritual healing, looking at things that you've shut down in your body and tried to ignore, and traumas, and bringing them up and looking at them and letting them go, and understanding how the universe works, or how what we see is not what is. And they're either very well, if they're open to that, then again, I use different words if I'm talking to someone else. So it's kind of like, you just go in, you do the work, and you figure out goals, and you kind of bring it down to a different level. But it all depends on the audience, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, definitely. So talking to your parents about it is totally different than talking to your friends about it.
Yeah, well, actually, talking to my parents are extremely open right now. And with the guidance of, everyone kind of who's doing the work, they're opening up to go doing some personal healing of their own. And that's really cool. And then with that, even the conversations after the journey, we had a childhood friend my age pass away. And then out came some stories. My dad said that he used to leave his body when he slept, when he was a child. And he told us that. And we've never talked about those things before. And so all these stories started to come out like it was okay. It wasn't weird. It wasn't scary. It was just by having the conversations, it opens it up like, oh, wait, what you're talking about happened to you too? It wasn't just me. I wasn't crazy. I didn't think I was just dreaming. So that's been really cool to connect with them on that level.
Brilliant. Yeah, I had a moment with my father before he passed away. I had a dream. And in that dream, I won't tell the whole story, but when I woke up and went out that afternoon, in my dream came to reality. It was actually how I saw it and played out. So I shared it with my father, not knowing what his response was going to be. And he says that, we didn't have a great relationship. And he said, that is a gift you should nurture and cherish. Oh, wow. And I went, whoa. Yeah, I was taken back. It was sort of like the last few weeks before he passed away. Yeah. And I gather, he got out of the way and he was open to a conversation like that. Yeah. So it was very unique. Is there anything else that you can share with us? Like, I'm very excited. Do you still carry your crystal, Nick?
Every night.
You never let it go during the journey, which was
that's what I was. Having Jen came at it at a higher awareness level than I did, obviously, and I was called guilty by association, but had the benefit of reaping the reward of some of her her work and kind of the overflow of it. And just go into it with an open mind. I had no idea what to expect. I had, you'd heard of ayahuasca and sweat lodges and all the different levels of different avenues and mediums. But just going into it with open mind, I had absolutely no idea what to expect.
Brilliant.
Had no preconceived notions whatsoever, and just went after it. And that was there's your big learning curve. The letting go of things is obviously deep seated in me somewhere.
Somewhere.
Gone away for the most part. It still pops up and pokes its ugly head around every now and again, but it's much easier to let things slide and go away and work through it.
Don't sweat the small stuff, hey?
Let
it go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So before we wrap things up, what major change have you made in your lifestyles and in the world that you could share with us? Personal, work, life, couple, family. So many.
Well, I think couple-wise, over the last little bit, we've really pushed each other. And I mean, not necessarily always in a positive way, but finding definitely both seeking, well, I was seeking not necessarily balance, but just almost like peace, maybe, if that makes sense. And acceptance, I think, is what we've been able to integrate more. For me anyway. Again, like your hard and fast rules, they just don't have to be hard and fast rules in relationships or with the kids. I mean, the kids are older now. It's much easier to have a 4-year-old than it is to have a 1.5-year-old, let's just say. But I mean, we have the tools. Like meditating is very important. If I just get to a point where I'm going, obviously, it's an easy habit to sit down and meditate and to journal and pulling the oracle cards. If I just feel like I need a little bit of, just need a little inspiration or something. Really going into it, the people around me, I thought, do I want to share all of this information? Do I want to is it going to be like, like,
here goes Jen again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
where they're
too
not
woo-woo.
Yeah, exactly. Woo-woo. That's the right word. And then I thought, you know what? No, because again, trusting that, I believe that part of my power is to influence people. Yes. And I want to make people think. And I know I've done that. And just presenting things in different ways, that's definitely something I have the confidence now to speak louder, clearer, and be heard, and not really care what other people think about it. If they're in my circle, then it shall align, right?
Brilliant. Very beautiful. Of course. Definitely. Nick, is there any major change in your life that you would like to share?
I think acceptance, maybe. Acceptance for what is and what will be, and taking a minute and realizing and seeing patterns or whatever, but actually seeing what's around you and taking notice. Get away from the day-to-day, shut the music off, or just listen to what's around you and see what's out there and actually see, not just the monotonous drive to work and staring out the window, but actually looking and seeing what's behind you and around you. And how shocking everything is when you actually just watch and look. And what you can see and what you can notice when you pay attention. Yeah. And you don't just shut off, and allowing that to come into your life and just being open for whatever will be.
Brilliant. So the sense of being here and now is very strong and prevalent in your lives. Yeah, compared to before, where you just put the blinders on and just head down and go and just plow through it, and just like a bull in a china shop. Now you're a very aware bull in a china shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
do you include your children? Do your children want to meditate with you also?
Oh God. Tag.
Tag loves. I think they meditated in kindergarten and stuff like that too. So he'll sit down and do the whole cross-legged and sit there. And
what's your favorite meditation buddy? Bob Proctor.
Bob Proctor.
Brilliant.
Bob Proctor. Yeah. So he he'll listen to those he did when he was camping and that kind of thing. Great. So usually the kids aren't around when we're meditating, so they don't see us do it anymore. But
they're aware of the happenings. It's funny to see.
Brilliant. So before we wrap up, any final words to our listeners who might be interested in working with the Journeymen Collective?
Well, I've always had a theory. Well, not always. I became aware of something that was very, very important, and I still apply it and implement it. And that is, if it scares you, you should run straight for it and do it, because that probably means you have a lot of work to do there. A journey kind of like skyrockets your growth curve. Like, so you could spend more time like doing the work, and you have to spend time every day doing it. But this kind of like really gets you kickstarted. It puts you in it. It throws you in there. It's almost like a really great smack in the face to get you kind of going in the right direction and cleansing all the bad stuff. So don't be scared. It's worth it. Do it. You will come out the other side much more aligned with your soul.
Beautiful. Definitely. Well, this was a lovely conversation. I'm so glad we're able to connect. It's been a long time. We would love to see you at our new center here in Kelowna, British Columbia. Can you provide our listeners with your website connection for Teacup's Tiny Homes?
Yeah, www.teacuptinyhomes.com, and Instagram, YouTube, all the things.
Brilliant.
That's where.
Excellent. If you're looking for a high-end luxury little place to live, there's your place to go.
That's right. Cabin, cottage, we'll hook you up.
We're there. And Nick, what automobile company are you with?
Yeah, Bridge City Chrysler. So www.bridgecitychrysler.com, as well as at Nick City Chrysler on Instagram. Yeah, check it out. We move some pretty cool units.
Brilliant.
All over.
Excellent. You need the truck to tow the tiny home to the next destination.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you so much. I love you both. To find out more about the Journeymen Collective and to hear more testimonials, please visit our website, thejourneymencollective.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram at the Journeymen Collective. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you. Much love.